The fans are anxiously waiting for the gladiators to enter the arena. Who will claim the title of being the best timber sports rookie in the world?
I'm definitely the favourite to win.
I'm definitely in the favour to win.
My goal for the Rookie World Championships is to defend our title and bring home a gold.
Do they have snacks? Anything? Starve them.
The person that's going to win is going to be the person that trained the hardest and has the best day.
15 seconds to warm up your saw.
15 seconds? You guys anybody got any starting fluid? God.
Okay, so we've got Ferry Svan on the right, the Nordic champion.
Come on, baby.
Oh, this could be a new best time. Perfect start, but not so good for the American.
I just needed a little bit of starting fluid. One squirt. I mean, it's an old saw.
I did a lot of training to come over here. Trained probably 5 times a week. Chopped about 5 blocks a day.
He chopped about 5 blocks a day. Lucky I couldn't get mine started. I got your 5 blocks. Ain't nothing like an old craftsman, I'm telling you.
Ferry Swan, victorious in Hamburg.
What is up? It is Wednesday, 6 o'clock. I am exhausted. Let's get the 12 this time. That'll get us closer to paying off that truck, baby. Woo! Hope y'all had, well, I don't want to say I had a bad day, I'm just tired. I probably put on 400 miles on the road. And just job site after job site after job site, and then shoveling. I'm too old and fat to shovel anything. If you guys are watching this, and that means you made it through, I was still trying to make up my mind between 2 different old videos of mine, and you've either watched the chainsaw one or the for sale sign one. I don't know which one I put up yet, but I appreciate you making through whichever one you just got done watching to get to this point. I appreciate it, man. I love you. Anyway, in the story yesterday, I seen a lot of people apologizing for laughing through it. That was the whole point. Man, that's how I tell a story. It's got to be funny or I don't want to tell it, man. I mean, there's irony there, the fact that it was called Horner Syndrome to begin with. And we were making cocaine jokes all the way back. And I noticed twice in editing that I mentioned his little jean jacket, which is crazy that that's a detail that stood out to me enough to say it twice. But here's the picture of him in his little jean jacket. Tell me you wouldn't remember that 2 or 3 years. Yeah, man, I got a bunch of ignorant stories, and they're all funny in their own way. And every time I tell a story, it's to laugh about. But I just seen this little black dude in there that I did time with, and I'll never forget that dude, man, because he was going to get in a fight with this guy. And y'all know, being locked up, that's the only entertainment. You know, it's in the prison I was in, and most of the jails you're in, they only have those couple little antenna channels. It's probably different now. They probably got satellite packages or something now, but I'll probably just scratch the truck pretty good. Woo! But fights were where it was at, man, and I'll never forget this little. He couldn't be no more. Nah, he probably about maybe 5 foot tall at the most, and he was getting ready to get in this fight with this dude, and jumped down off the rack, and you would have thought he jumped down off the top rack because of how short he is, but it was the bottom rack, and he jumped down, and over he kept screaming. He ripped his shirt off, and he was like, I hit hard, bro, I hit hard. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this dude hits hard. Let me set up for a minute, watch how hard he is. And he's like, nah, bro, I hit hard, bro. And like, let me paint this picture for you. Like I said, this guy's like a 5 foot tall black dude, probably, I don't know, 160, 170 pounds. Not very big, pigeon-toed, just standing there with his 2 toes pointed in, talking about how hard he is. I hit hard, bruh. And after about 20 times of him saying that, I'm like, well, do ya? You know, then hit him then, bro. What the And then finally, and these are the funniest ones, right? When somebody's like, shut up, bro. Or, you know what I mean? Or somebody don't take him serious at all. And then, like, it's just like, bro, sit down with your hit hard. This video's about your siblings, man. Where's your siblings at? And we're going to talk about this guy a little bit here in a minute, too. But, yeah, where's your siblings at? Do you have any? If you do, if you've not talked to them in a while, why? Is it on you? And I know everybody's got their own. I know there's somebody right now going, gotcha, man, you do not understand, bro. You do not even know the half, bro. You need to know the story, and I get it. We pretty strained relationship myself. I don't talk to any of my family. And it's real awkward to be in a relationship. Like my wife, very family, you know, they're all close, whatever, very family-oriented people. Like every holiday, that's just all their family from both sides. And even like the parents that are divorced will come together for certain situations. But here lately, I've been making it somewhat of a goal to try and get in touch with my sister and brother. And I miraculously was able to conversate with my brother a little bit yesterday over Facebook. I'd given him my number, and he does the thing he always does. Is I'll call you, but I'll call you later this evening. And he never does, and that's fine. He'll call me on his own time. But what I thought about doing is, and I want to see what you guys think about it, because you guys are the ones that help build it and make it what it is. But that backup channel of mine, Horner's House, it's got like 1,500 subs. He's real into music, and he may be a good reactor, and it's something he was talking about wanting to do. And I told him, as long as it's okay with you guys, I would give him that channel. You know, just give it to him and let him start doing some music reactions on there. And if they're good enough quality and it makes sense, I can share them when possible. But more importantly, my sister, I just heard back from her, because I've been, more than anything, been wanting to get her to sit down with me and talk about not only her situation and where she's at in life, but our childhood and what her perspective was on the situation that we came from, and how she feels about that, and what it was like to be a kid herself, literally an 18-year-old kid, basically. I mean, I know 18-year-old's an adult, but she was fresh out of school and had to take custody of me and be the responsible guardian of me, you know. And like I hinted to one day, that she would have to come out to the schools, and that's a really good story. And I hate to spoil it, but I'm not so confident that she actually will sit down with me Saturday, and there's plenty more stories to tell. But so here, let me set this up real quick. So here's what Gotcha Man did. I was in the 11th grade, and I had an algebra teacher that had it out for me. We kind of went back and forth. It was kind of an ordeal. We actually made t-shirts about this guy. Me and a group of my buddies, we all printed this thing he said out of, it was like a nervous tick. He would say, well, you know, but he would say, well, you know. So we all had black shirts made that said, well, you know. That's terrible. Anyway, I messed with this dude hard, man. And we had dry erase boards at that school. And I thought one day, somebody brought in some super glue. And I'm like, I got you now, buddy. And so what I done was, I took the phone, the office phone, and I lifted up the receiver or whatever, and I put a little bit of super glue, put it back down on the base. And then I went over to his markers real quick, his dry erase markers, like 2 or 3 of them real fast. And I popped the caps off and super glued them back on. So, and then you just sit back and wait, right? Then you just sit back and wait on the fruits of your labor. Well, he goes up and he's like, well, let me explain this equation. And God rest his soul, he's probably dead now. He was an old man back then. But he goes up to the board and he grabs a marker and he starts to like pull it with his hand, and he couldn't get the marker open. So then he grabs it with his teeth, and I'm like, oh man, if the teacher loses teeth, I'm gonna catch some kind of charge or something. He couldn't get the first one, so then he sets it down and he thinks, well, it's just a stuck lid. So he grabs another marker and pulls it, and he's prying it with his teeth, and I can't help it no more. I'm like, and as soon as, I mean, no more than he just heard that little noise come out of my face, he immediately put it together that not only is this not just a random stuck marker, this is something James Horner did, and he's going to the damn dean's office, right? So he's like, Horner, to the dean's office! And he rushes over to grab his phone, because back then you had to call the dean to let him know that you were sending a student down. And as I'm getting up to go to the dean's office, he grabs the phone and jerks it, trying to pick it up to call the dean, and the whole thing flies off the desk. Oh, and the cord, just one clean swoop, took a bunch of stuff off his desk. And then at this point, the whole entire class is laughing, and his face is as red as a beet. I mean, he was so upset at me. So then they set me in there, and they're telling me how serious this is, and how, I know it's a prank, James, but it's not funny. And we're going to call your parents. We're going to call your guardian out here. We're going to have a talk with them, which usually, I guess, most kids are like, oh, no, don't do that. I'm like, all right. So they call my sister up. And then they bring her out and set her across from me. And I'll never forget that. She was on the way home, and she couldn't look at me as they were telling her what was going on. And they're like, and then he Mr. Gamp goes over to grab his markers, and of which James had glued as well. And she's like trying so hard not to laugh. And by the end of the school year, I finally did graduate, thankfully. I came real close to getting kicked out a few times. But by the end of the school year, I did get the dean to eventually laugh too. He was like, did you really do that? And he kind of giggled a little bit. I tell you what's funny too, is full circle. The dean ran into me probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I was in between, I was missing an employee, I'll just say. So I was out doing what my employee would be doing, but I was in between guys. And I seen him, and I didn't recognize him, but he was like, James Horner. Right in front of the customer. I was at the customer's house. The customer was like, that's not good when the dean knows your first name and last name 20 years later. And I'm like, I seen him a lot, but believe it or not, the dean asked me for a job. Because I explained to him, he was like, how you been? I'm like, I'm out here doing this because I'm short-handed. He was like, well, how much does it pay? And I'll apply. And I was like, dude, there's no effing way that I would hire my old dean and just feel like everything's fine. So anyway, yeah. As of now, we are scheduled to have my sister on Saturday. She said Saturday she will do it, which is fantastic. And I don't know where we're gonna. I told her she can come to the house, or I'll take her out to eat or whatever. And I do plan on paying her. If she's gonna set in a video with me, I'll split the AdSense of that video with her, so that it's only fair that we sit down and do that. But so yeah, I guess if this message is worth anything, and if you have a brother or a sister out there, no matter how old you are, if you're in your 50s, if you're in your 30s, 20s would be crazy if you're already not talking to your siblings, because the 20s is when whoever I was dating and my brother was dating was trying to keep me and him separate, because we were troubled together. We did love to, I don't know what it was, but we would just have fun. And I hope one day, it would have to be over like a live stream or something, or some pre-recorded deal for me and my brother to be in a video together, because he lives out in Arizona. But it would be fun. Some of the stories that me and him have been through, you guys honestly wouldn't believe. But anyway, let's get to, and I may have even put this dude's picture or something in the thumbnail, I'm not sure yet. But for those of you that came to hear that part of this video, so look, obviously over the last year and a half, whatever, that I spent ragging on this idiot and trying to get through to him, my algorithm isn't going to just switch up overnight. So there's still a lot of those people in my algorithm, and there's still a lot of those people that if I find myself having some free time or a minute, that I will go over there and check out and be like, what's this idiot talking about today? Or what's this guy saying? Or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I've seen, and I take it as an invitation most of the time. Especially from some of the other guys. I've heard these other guys, saying what they want to say about me and talking, and these other guys just saying outlandish stuff is just, it's an enticement in my opinion, like to see if I'll say something about it, right? To see if I'll cover it. And as of now, I've done pretty good at just like, I'll just laugh it off and ignore it. Not really. I'm like, I'm not. It's not even worth it, man. I mean, the guy has said dumber or the guy has said crazier. However, I listened to this guy today, and dude, it's almost dangerous for you to be this delusional. It's almost dangerous, and this is what we mean when we say you're stalker level weird. You're never going to fully come to terms with it for whatever reason, but in the meantime, I'll make fun of you because, dude, I'm so embarrassed for you in this point. But I went over to the Gobbler's house here on YouTube, which, he's changed his persona yet again. I mean, this guy just changes every other day. And then one of the quotes that he says in this, he actually prefaces with the fact that, since I'm a reaction channel now.
Now I thought, and listen, I'm a reaction channel now. I'm a reaction channel now, and I'm one.
As of the last 24 hours, I guess. But anyway, this is scary level weird. The person who kicked off the conversation in his chat isn't much better. I know I was looking down at the timer of the video to see exactly if it was an even or odd number when he made this quote, or this comment rather, in the video, and said, "Didn't Ryan tell people to leave you alone?"
I didn't say stop messing with you, Johnny. In some other sorts, yeah, Mark.
To which Gobbler responds, Yeah, Martin. In his own little ways. I'll just play it for you,
Johnny. In some other sorts, yeah, Martin. He did say that in some other sorts, yes. Yes. He seen what people was doing to me and was like, some of these people, I don't know, I'd never be seen around again. And that's what he was talking about. Yeah, Martin.
So yeah, man, how sad is that? He said, he told people that kept bothering Gobbler that he wouldn't stand next to him anymore. And what I mean when I say there's been other times that I thought about speaking on it that I didn't, it's been like a week or so ago. And you guys, if you know, that this guy made a statement on here saying that Ryan was using his Dagburnness, right? Dagburnness. He was like, well, he's speaking like how Dagburn would speak, and being how like Dagburn would be. And I seen that, and I was like, ooh, that's a pretty good one to point out, but I'll pass. But this one is way too good. Way too good. I mean, this Ryan fella is... How good of a grip do you have? Like, how... You have to have, like, Spider-Man hands to hang from a dude's sack for that long. And to just be hanging and passing and hanging. Ryan said my name. He's talking about me, y'all. He's telling y'all leave me alone, y'all. Like, how good of a grip on this man's sack does he have to stay on it for that long? Meanwhile, this Ryan fella's has no idea. Probably, I would hope. But, I don't know. He's probably as deep in his comments as anybody. I guess that's the other funny side to this, right? I'll get to that here in a minute. And that's why I think this whole thing works so well. I think those are the ingredients that made 2020 I think it was, 2020, 2021, 2022, so magical was because not only was there a guy that was so incredibly stupid and stalkerish and in love with this celebrity crush, but then you had the celebrity that he had a crush on that was also has his own peaks and valleys, that stoops down to the Gobblers, pops back up to the to the Kennedys, and then pops back down to the guy. I mean, it was magic. And I heard Fusion talking about it the other day, about things went so quick at that point, and he's not wrong. I mean, that was probably the craziest point on the internet that I remember in recent years, and sucked us all into it at some point. But this guy literally took, and dude, here's one thing. Here's a glaring point that lets us all know that you are in such denial and you don't realize what a stalkerish weirdo you are. The fact that every time you bring up anything that you watched, any information that you've seen, or any Instagram story or whatever, you always lead with, well,
I seen somebody told me, said go over and check out Ryan's story on his Instagram story, you know. And I didn't pay no attention. I went later on tonight and I checked it out. And
somebody sent me this thing that I wasn't really paying any attention to and didn't really want to do it. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. It comes off as you're downplaying it for a reason, because you realize that you're stalkerish. You realize deep down that it's over the top, and that Ryan doesn't fart without you knowing about it. But anyway, Ryan makes this video that I covered on here. I've since unlisted it, but it's still on there for anybody got a notification that he was talking shit about Morgan Wallen and his fathering skills or whatever. And he basically says at the beginning of it that, but he spells it all the way out and says exactly who he's talking about, Morgan Wallen, and says that he's not going to stand beside certain people like that anymore. And this delusional weirdo is on live last night telling people, yeah, Martin, basically. He's basically talking about me, pretty much. Telling people, yeah, you either leave Gobbler alone or I'll never stand next to you again. Pretty much. And he said it, and he used my Gobbler essence when he said it. I mean, he wasn't saying like Dagburn or nothing, but he was using my, you know what I mean, guys? He was using my likeness. Y'all, I worry about you, buddy. I worry about you. Are you okay? But the even funnier part is, and that's the part that comes in where he says, well, I'm a reaction channel now. Because he just, day before yesterday, put out a short saying, all the negative stuff, anything negative I've ever said, Dagburn, I'm on a positive track. We've never seen that before, have we? But I'm deleting all the negative stuff off my channel, and I'll never say another negative thing again, and I'll definitely never say nothing about Ryan ever again, y'all. I'm never going to do it again, y'all. And somebody in the chat must have brought up this beef that's reignited between Ryan and American Dad, or whatever that dude. God, the out of breath dude. Calhoun. Adam Calhoun. And Dagburn, his initial reaction is the dick, right? He's like, yeah, man, that's crazy. Well, now that I'm a reaction channel, right? But he says, yeah, that's crazy. I just don't get it.
the world is going on now with between Adam and Ryan. I seen that.
I just don't get it. Of course you don't, buddy. And that's the reason that he'll sell millions worth in albums, and you'll stay in that apartment. I'm not going to go any deeper than that or be any more hurtful than that or rude. But, yeah, you don't get it. Just like this guy right here really thought that he got the SPP on the BS. And for those of you wondering, that's the small penis pics on the back street. He really thought that he had the sauce. And you really think that these guys have this beef, man. Ask yourself, the next time that you don't just get a notification from a Ryan Instagram story and immediately click it so fast that you crack your phone screen. The next time that a friend sends you a thing that you weren't even really paying attention to, and it's about Ryan, and it's Ryan saying something along those lines, insinuating that he might have a problem with somebody, might have this little drama building up, ask yourself this. Does he got an album coming out soon? If you don't know him by now, you will never, ever, ever know him. Ask yourself this, too. If you're watching the Gotcha Man video, and he's talking about that same drama and the same idiot, ask yourself this. Does Gotcha Man have a truck to pay off, baby? Woo!